30 minutes. That's it. No gym, no equipment, no diet overhaul. Just 30 minutes of walking. And the biological changes that follow are frankly difficult to believe until you see the data. People who walk consistently don't just feel better. Their hearts function differently. Their brains physically change. Their risk of dying early drops in ways that most medications can't match. And here's the part that stops most people cold. The mechanism starts working within the first few minutes. Not after weeks, not after months. Minutes. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you'll understand exactly what's happening inside your body, step by step. And you'll never think about a walk the same way again.
We're going to follow your body through a single 30-minute walk. Not the motivational version, the biological version. What happens to your cardiovascular system in the first 5 minutes? What your brain starts doing around minute 10, and the one mechanism, deep in your cellular machinery, that explains why regular walkers age differently than people who don't move. That mechanism has a name. Most people have never heard it. We'll get to it. But first, you need to understand what your body is actually doing the moment you take that first step. Because most people have the wrong model entirely. You step outside, you start moving. Within 60 seconds, your heart rate climbs. Blood vessels in your legs dilate. Your body is redirecting blood flow away from digestion toward your muscles. But here's what most people don't realize. This isn't just your heart working harder. It's your heart getting smarter. Picture your arteries not as fixed pipes, but as living tissue, flexible, responsive, capable of change. Every time you walk, your cardiovascular system practices something called vascular adaptation. The walls of your blood vessels become more elastic, more responsive, better at managing pressure. Over weeks and months, this adds up in ways that show up on medical scans. People who walk regularly show significantly lower rates of heart attack and stroke compared to sedentary individuals. Not because walking is magic, but because the cardiovascular system responds to repeated, moderate stress by becoming more resilient. Think of it like this. Every walk is a rehearsal. Your heart is practicing for the moments that matter. What happens when you don't move? Your arteries get stiffer. Not overnight, but step by step, or rather, step by step less. Blood pressure that creeps upward. Vessel walls that lose their elasticity. The body doesn't deteriorate because it gets old. It deteriorates because it stops receiving the signal that it's still needed. Walking is that signal. But the cardiovascular system is just the opening act. Around the 5-minute mark, something shifts beneath the surface. Your body is burned through the immediate fuel, the glucose sitting in your bloodstream. Now it starts pulling from deeper reserves. Fat cells begin releasing stored energy. Your metabolism, which may have been idling for hours, is now running at a different speed. And this effect doesn't stop when you do. After a walk, your metabolic rate stays elevated, not for minutes, but for hours. Your body continues burning at a higher rate while you sit at your desk, eat lunch, or watch TV. The walk is over. The engine is still running. You've probably felt this without knowing what it was. That strange warmth after a morning walk. The way you feel slightly more awake, slightly more alive for the rest of the morning. That's not motivation. That's metabolism. Now here's where it gets more interesting. Regular walking doesn't just burn calories in the moment. It changes how your body handles sugar over time. People who walk consistently respond better to the hormone that regulates their blood sugar. That sounds technical, but what it means is simple. Fewer energy crashes, fewer cravings, a more stable day. That's one of the most powerful levers for long-term health, and it responds directly to something as simple as a daily walk. But the metabolic shift is only the second layer. What happens in your brain is something else entirely. This is the part that surprised researchers. Around the 10-minute mark, your brain begins releasing a substance that works like fertilizer for your nerve cells. It supports the growth of new brain cells, strengthens existing connections, and protects against the decline that comes with age. Here's the striking part. In studies tracking people over years, regular walkers showed measurable increases in the size of the hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory and learning.
Not metaphorically larger, physically larger on a brain scan. The hippocampus normally shrinks with age. In regular walkers, that process slows, or in some cases, reverses. Picture that for a moment. A part of your brain that is supposed to shrink, growing instead, because of walking. And it's not just about memory. Many people report that after a walk, they think more clearly, focus better, suddenly solve problems they were stuck on before. That's not a coincidence. When you walk, blood flow increases to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decisions, creativity, and concentration. Your brain is literally running on a higher level. That's why Einstein, Darwin, and Beethoven all had one thing in common. They walked every single day. And then there's something most people don't expect. Studies show that for people with mild to moderate depression, regular walking worked about as well as medication. Not as a replacement for everything, but as a real biological intervention. Your brain releases substances while you walk that stabilize your mood, lower your stress levels, and improve your sleep. Not because you feel good about exercising, but because your chemistry has genuinely changed. And now, the mechanism I mentioned at the start, the one most people never hear about. It's called hormesis. The principle is simple. A small, controlled stress on the body triggers a large repair response. The stress itself isn't the benefit. The repair is. Think of it like this. When you walk, you're not just moving. You're sending a signal. A signal that says, this body is being used. Reinforce it, rebuild it, prepare it for more. Your bones are put under load and become stronger because of it. Your joints, your tissue, your muscles, everything gets the message. We're needed. Build up. And deep inside every single cell, the same thing happens. The tiny power plants that produce your energy multiply and work more efficiently. The result? People who walk regularly age measurably slower. Not just in how they feel, measurably. The body doesn't distinguish between I went for a walk and I sent a repair signal. To your biology, they're the same thing. Every step is a message, and your body is listening. One walk changes your chemistry for hours. 30 days of walking changes your architecture. Your resting heart rate drops. Your blood pressure stabilizes. Your sleep deepens. Because walking regulates the internal clock that controls your sleep-wake cycle. Your mood becomes more stable, not because you feel good about exercising, but because your brain chemistry has genuinely changed. Your body composition begins to shift. Not dramatically in the first week, but measurably. Fat cells that were sealed shut begin releasing energy. Muscle tissue that was underused begins responding. And then there's your immune system. After 30 days of regular walking, your immune cells are more active. They patrol faster, respond earlier, clean up more efficiently. People who walk regularly have measurably fewer sick days. Not because walking kills viruses, but because a body in motion has a vigilant system. And when you walk, your muscles release hundreds of signaling molecules that build it up. Your immune system isn't a fixed wall. It's a team that gets stronger through movement, and walking is the training. And here's the number that puts all of this in perspective. People who consistently reach 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day have a 40 to 50% lower risk of dying early. That holds for men and women, for young and old, for people all over the world. Not 5%, not 10%, 40 to 50. For something that needs no equipment, no membership, no recovery time. Your body is not waiting for a perfect plan. It's not waiting for the right moment, the right shoes, the right weather. It's waiting for a signal. You just learned what that signal is.